Yay. So my topic is threat management. This engineering sub-department is no more. And now we're all under. Todd's going to have to think about what to call his sub-department, because right now it's secure, right?
Do we really need a sub-department anymore though? It's the section, right? It's the section, and we've got defend or protect and secure in it. And I think there's some questions around, the fact for me in my head that, you know, Tiago and I have a team of developers that work between container security and threat insights. So we have organized that way. How do we adjust now? Yeah. So I don't know if we actually still need a sub-department.
I don't know. So you and I and Todd, we are cross stage because we have protect and secure. So Todd is on sec, but just how we had trouble having an engineering sub-department that spanned different stages, I think we're going to have troubles having an engineering section that spans 2 stages. So if he has the sec, some things might break. Anyway, my point here is that we haven't been using deliverable labels, and this is a metric that Todd likes to do for other security groups, and I like it because it gives us the say-do ratio, and I don't think it's a lot of effort for us to start using it, because we already only stack on the board more or less what we think we're going to be able to commit to based on the velocity, right? So what does everyone think about bringing back the deliverable labels? Leave stretch alone. We don't want to do stretch. Stretch doesn't make any sense because everything is a stretch anyway if it's not a deliverable. But Lindsay, let's start with you.
I'm going to keep that quiet for the recording, but I don't think we intentionally stopped using the deliverable labels. I don't think that was a conversation that we had that we were going to drop them. It was something that we weren't looking at, and it was work, so we stopped. So Matt didn't get on us for it. So Tiago and I are just both like, shh. And now we're going to go back to that step in our planning, which is still documented in our handbook page, which will go away.
All right. So we just want to do cool. So you're good with it, Matt? You don't look like you carry the weight.
Yeah, I would say I am definitely more of a chicken than a pig in terms of the deliverable. I guess it's nice to have, but I certainly don't want to use it as a thing to point at and throw fits over like, oh, it was deliverable. Yeah, I mean, if it's something we need to do for the team from a tracking perspective, that's fine. I kind of share Daniel's sentiment that the more labels, the more busy it gets over on the sign. But
yeah, I don't love labels either, but I do like having a metric that we follow and maybe sparks questions. Say, hey, how come we only did 50%, or how come we did 95%?
I do have one question though.
Yeah.
Is the deliverable label, is that for absolutely everything, including implementation issues, or does that just live on like the feature issue or epic?
I would say it's the opposite. It's just for implementation issues, because it's an engineering commitment to product, saying, hey, product, we're going to do these things and you can count on us for it. Up to 70 and 80%, no more than that.
Gotcha.
All right, that was me.
Well, now that we're all here and we've got a front-end and a back-end representative from the engineering team, should we go through quickly the 1311 issues as a very, very late milestone kickoff, something that we should have done 2 weeks ago? And I'm going to be a total jerk about this, and I'm going to ask those front-end and back-end engineers to do that walkthrough for us. Sorry, Daniel and Jonathan, not.
No, I don't think we should do it.
Is this so they say no?
No, I don't think.
Was that the plan? It's like, hey, I'm going to make y'all do this. Do you want to do it?
It was less of a question than a polite request. I think it's better. I think there's more benefit if you guys look at them and give us, if you're like, whoa, what is this doing here? Then maybe there's a bigger red flag, right?
Well, that is certainly the intention.
I am unprepared to tell you my thoughts.
If you guys are really against it, we can make this in the future we do it that way, and Tiago and I can be stuck doing it this time. I would be really.
Or we could no one do it.
No one do it. We can just not do it at all. Who wants to vote?
I'm looking for a no reaction, but there isn't one. But
It seems like none of us are really ready to talk about it. So maybe for next time.
So
It's funny. We can't push it off another week. We'd be almost done with the milestone by then. This is a milestone kickoff. Sorry, Jonathan, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's all right. No, I mean, what are we looking at doing, like, for the walk? They're like looking at the ready for development ones, or just everything
Right.
sitting in the.
So the goal, what we did last time, and I think the goal is to go through what's in ready for development and potentially what's blocked. I think there's a lot of benefit for us to look at what's blocked
and refinement as well. So anything that's in the milestone.
I think what's already in dev, though, we know, or verification, or anything past ready for development, someone's already picked up. Do you want to go through the whole thing, Tiago? Because that's not what we did last time.
It's just because I think we did refinement. At least I did last time. Because
no, I agree with you on refinement. I just mean in dev.
Oh, not in dev. No.
Okay.
No. Yeah, it's ready for the development, blocked, and refinement. There are things that say, hey, we're looking to do these things, and these are blocked, so they might not get done. These in refinement, we might not have everything we need to do it. And then in dev say, hey, these are ready to go. And does anybody think we should not be doing them? That's it, Jonathan.
Okay, gotcha. I was listening and also trying to read at the same time. Yeah. We can walk through them real quick.
I'd like us to get better at doing it, but I do think there's limited value in doing it for this one.
I mean, it seems like most of our issues are now in like closed, verified, or in dev. Like we'll pass a lot of them. We have 3 in refinement, 4 in ready for development, and a handful.
It looks like you're doing it already. Might as well share your screen and talk us through it.
All right.
Meanwhile, Daniel can prepare.
All right. Share screen. How does Zoom do this? Okay, I know what I'm doing. I think I know what I'm doing. All right. Assuming y'all see that. All right. So we have these, look in the refinement column, improving sorting, merge reports service. I don't know what that one is.
Me neither, but it's a P2 bug that we probably were asked. We were probably asked to do that in as soon as possible.
Okay.
I remember that. Mehmet found that the results are inconsistent, and that creates tracking issues. So things that say, hey, it's resolved, hey, it's detected, hey, it's resolved, hey, it's detected. So definitely something we want to fix. So
Mehmet's working on that. We got an N+1 query. We have several. I know that's been one of our topics of conversation quite a bit recently on the speed of our database queries. And I think that one is specifically for GraphQL.
And Jonathan, we don't need to go into each and every one to a huge degree, also just to take too long.
All right. A new artifact type. We've got some new work. We got a lot of work on the vulnerability feedback. Mihao put together an epic on that one. And so, yeah, that's part of getting through and speeding things up. And allowing for some comments to be able to be done for the states. Miha's got a new epic on that one. Vulnerability feedback.
For those following from home, this was the issue where we could only add comments to the dismissed state. We couldn't add comments to any other state change.
Yep. couple of bugs over here ready for development. And then another thing about the security findings. So we got some work to do on the security findings tables. And this one's just been sitting out there for a long time, the technical documentation diagrams.
I think everybody's dodging it.
I think so. That one probably needs to be re-refined and looked at again. Especially since we're kind of starting to move stuff around in the back end.
So do we punt it?
I think I'd say we probably need to punt it a couple of milestones in the future, because we've got stuff that's getting reworked on the feedback side. We have new evidence models that are going in, and we're trying to rearrange some stuff between the vulnerabilities and vulnerability findings.
Makes sense to me.
I think we need to punt that one a couple down the road. So, I mean, that all looks good to me. Nothing seems out of whack.
And that last one there is just a continuation of the raw metadata one, or is that is that Mihaw's new epic?
This ignore unnecessary columns.
Yeah. Security findings.
Yeah, that. Let me see what that is.
Right, it's project fingerprint. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
We have two refactoring epics. One is to remove raw metadata due to performance and security concerns, and the other is to remove project fingerprint because it's buggy and confusing. Sorry. Thank you.
Yep.
So Daniel,
Okay.
if you really don't want to do the front end ones, I will, but I, wholeheartedly encourage you to share if you'd like.
Yeah. Let me see
Thanks.
here. Okay, so looking at the board for 13.11. Why is this not working? There it is.
Daniel, there's also the link in the document that will get you your.
Oh yeah, right. That's I think that's what I clicked on earlier. Okay, so for 13.11, we are focusing half on resolving a bunch of tech debt that we have, and the other half is to introduce several major features. So one of the features that we're adding is the feedback survey, and that's going to be very quickly merged soon, hopefully. And the other big piece of work is the project filter, in order to show more than to be able to select projects beyond the first 100 if you have more than 100 projects in a group or on the instance dashboard. And one work that's in the ready for development column that we haven't quite started on is to switch to the GraphQL vulnerability list on the project, the pipeline security tab. That also involves removing the old security dashboard Vuex version, which is currently in use on the pipeline tab, and it's the only place left of the old security pipeline. So by switching over, we're able to remove a large swath of files and also standardize using the GraphQL vulnerability list across every area or across every level that we use the vulnerability list in. Then apart from that, it's just a bunch of random issues like some follow-ups and error messages and stuff like that. Oh, and Savash.
Scroll to the very top of the ready for development. I think there's a couple ones that you missed up there, Daniel, just around, especially, there's some wrap around the Jira integration, but what I wanted to call out was the dismissal types work.
Oh,
And then there's also some work around the generic schema. So, you know, there is a lot of sort of high priority items, but little things contributing to them all over the place. So it's hard to group together. So I just wanted to highlight those.
Yeah, that's a good call out. Yeah, that's a good call out.
And then as
So-
far as the blocked items go, you know, the Jira feature flag, we still have that feature flag in place, Matt, and I'm not sure if we need to, because we got a customer complaint about some 500 errors in a self-hosted instance that sometimes can be reproducible. I think even the person who reported it said they wouldn't think that it would be a blocker to rolling this out. Do you think that should still be blocked?
The feature flag is
So
blocked.
pushing, well, we've got to remove the feature flag, basically. So it's out today. It's on by default, but we still have the feature flag there so that we could shut it off if there was a problem. And there had been a problem reported, which was part of why we marked this as blocked. It was a problem reported from a self-hosted customer.
I mean, that's kind of a tricky one because it's not, I mean, it's on by default, but you actually still have to go in and configure it and do all the setup before it'll do anything. So I feel like we don't necessarily need a feature flag. If they're experiencing problems, they can just disable that integration for that particular project.
Okay. So we can move that one out of the unblocked then, it sounds like.
Yeah, especially if it was just one customer and it was a transient error like that.
Okay. And then Daniel, you know more about the other two, I think, or at least the bottom one, the unaccessed user, that is actually blocked on a backend issue. That was a HackerOne bug report, if I'm thinking of the right one. Yeah, it is. And Tiago, I know that you guys have a backend issue that's, I believe, also in this milestone, that this one is just sort of like, let's verify and communicate through this issue. And then Daniel, do you want to comment on the last project filter one?
Yeah, so that's the custom scanner filter. That's blocked because of a backend performance issue with the query to. When you select a bunch of items, it's the query to fetch the vulnerability list is very slow, to the point where it actually times out half the time. So we're still waiting on a new API, which I believe Jonathan is currently working on, in order to allow us to filter by vendor and the scanner type.
We are not filtering by vendor. We discussed that, not doing vendor and scanner name, but instead the actual scanner ID. So we weren't able to get a query that's going to be performance enough on that method. But we are providing the vendor and scanner names for the front end to determine which scanner IDs they need to filter on.
Oh, okay. So the front end still is sending the vendor.
The front end is going to be sending the scanner IDs.
Okay, so that will resolve the problem you mentioned about having non-unique IDs across different projects.
Right. Plus, it's going to, like on the other one, we were going to have to do 2 table joins along with the other joins that were going on. And so that one is actually in its very last review phase.
Okay, cool.
Getting that one done.
Oh no, not okay, Google, go away. Is the have you benchmarked the performance to see what the improvement is like?
Between just the scanner ID versus the non-scanner ID?
Yeah, like the way it's currently being handled versus the new way.
It's not being handled. That's the thing, is that we're it's a totally new filter.
Oh, okay.
Let's take this offline and if you want to put that question in the issue, especially since you know now where they're at with backend piece, Daniel. And then the last item to call it is this refinement issue around the generic report schema. This was something that was identified late as something we'd missed in our early planning breakdown. So I'll remind Dave, I think it's been in refinement only for a few days. So that's what that one is. I think that's it for the front end. Do we miss any, Daniel?
I don't think so, but we do have quite a few tickets. I mean,
definitely have quite a few tickets. So we pulled in more work than I think we should have for the milestone, and I take responsibility for that.
Do we want to have a crack at throwing some labels there, Lindsay? Deliverable.
Was that part of what we're doing right now?
We don't have to do it right now, but after this. So if we think, what's reasonable to ask the teams to deliver.
We'll just go through all of the stuff that's already in the verification column. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, that sounds like a great idea, Tiago.
All right.
I will stop sharing.
I think that's the bottom of our agenda.
Thank you for that, Daniel and Jonathan. Much appreciated. You guys did great. Anything? Anyone for any more? No? Have a beautiful Tuesday or Wednesday, depending where you are. And
I'll be off until next Tuesday. So if you need me, you can go ahead and bug Tiago.
That's right. And happy Easter for those who celebrate.
And most people are off on Monday, yes?
And
I'll be off on
Friday.
Friday. I think I'm on. I don't think Monday's just.
Yeah, I'm off simply because my daycare is off, so I'm kind of tied to them.
There you go. Somebody said Monday was a U.S. holiday. I'm like, what?
It's on the
holiday is
U.S.
on
holiday
Monday?
calendar, but I'd also, so I took it
Yeah.
off. It's also my daughter's birthday, but I'd like to add tax day is also on our U.S. holiday
was gonna say,
calendar,
yeah.
so I'm not sure
Yes.
that we should take all of those days off.
Can we take tax day off? That would be sweet.
Flag Day. Flag Day.
You know, it's GitLab. If you want to take tax day off, take tax day off, man.
Right.
Yes,
Although it's the
I guess it's-
17th now. It's
May
May
Baseball
17th
opening
17th.
privately.
Baseball opening day is coming up soon too.
I see you all in May.
All right. Bye,
Have a great
y'all.
one.
Yeah.
Bye.